Right, I am joined today on a rainy day in New York City with Subway icon Jared Fogle. Jared, what brings a fine Hoosier like yourself to the Big Apple?
Well, I'm here for a specific reason this weekend. Going to be competing in the ING New York City Marathon this Sunday, so real excited about that. Been training real hard for it, and can't wait for the Sunday.
Now you've gone from Jared that we remember in 1999 to Jared who you are today. We're going to talk a little bit about that journey, but how did the fact that you're running a marathon, one of the biggest marathons in the world, come about? I mean, is this something you ever envisioned, and what made you decide to do it now?
Did I ever envision doing this? Absolutely not, to be honest. Before this year, I have never run more than a mile in my entire life, and that was probably back in 3rd or 4th grade. So to sort of come full circle like this and to now be in a position to complete the ING New York City Marathon, for me has been real exciting. Obviously, it's been a whole new chapter this year in my life, I guess. And one of those things that I guess deep down my bucket list, there was always that thought of someday to do a marathon. I mean, what a cool thing to say you've done. And for me, it's not so much caring about my time and just crossing that finish line, which is what it's all about. And hopefully, people say, hey, if that Jared guy can do it, I can get off the couch and go do a 5K or whatever, and just try to give a little bit more than inspiration to other people around the country as well.
Well, that inspirational message is something that you've taken pretty far. And let's go back a decade ago when you were a college student and you really came into the public light. Did you ever think you would become Jared the Subway guy, the celebrity that you've become, and the inspirational celebrity, and the message that you bring?
No, it's been obviously when I weighed over 425 pounds back in 1998. I needed to make some major lifestyle changes, as you can imagine. Needed to really get my life back under control and get my health back on track. And for me, it was that it was just finding something easy for me to do, something that I could fit in my lifestyle, and hence eating the Subway sandwiches twice a day for a year, off the low-fat menu, of course. Usually a turkey sub for lunch and then a foot-long veggie sub for dinner. But never in a million years, I think, by eating Subway twice a day, that anyone would ever know about my story, or let alone have a commercial or a couple commercials, or let alone, I think, maybe 80-plus commercials now they've done in the last almost 12 years now. So it's been a very surreal journey, one that I still sort of have to pinch myself half the time with some of the stuff I've got to do because of it. But at the end of the day, it's a great feeling to know that giving some of that hope back to other people who are in a similar situation that I was in myself. And
you become an icon. I mean, you are very closely associated with the brand more than anyone or anything else, I think. I mean, any time you said there were things that you were asked to do and times where you had to pinch yourself. I mean, at any point did you say, I'm in it for life. This is me. And I don't want to say if you've had any regrets, but just kind of second thoughts like, yeah, I'm in it for the long run.
It's been an interesting ride. Obviously the fact that I'm just known as one name now. It's like, Jared, Prince, Madonna, Sting. It's weird. You say Jared Fogle, it almost confuses people. But if you say just my first name, people seem to know it. Or I think my middle name is now from, my last name is Subway. Jared from Subway. So it's been great, as I said, and it really just a fun ride. And I am in it for life. I think even obviously, hopefully going to be doing these ads for a long time to come with Subway and be part of the Subway family for a very long time. But even after all is said and done, I'll probably be known for being Jared the Subway guy for the rest of my life.
Let's focus a little bit more on why you're here in the present. You are here for the marathon, and you said you went from running a mile when you were 6 years old to now you're running a full marathon. Along the way, I'm sure you've had to do some training. Tell us a little bit about the training that you've done, and you've also trained with some of the other Subway famous fans along the way, but tell us about the actual physical process of getting ready for the race.
Yeah, I think, for somebody like me who's a very novice runner, someone who's never really run much in my life, I really wanted to get teamed up with a great training organization, and got a partner with St. Vincent Sports Performance out of Indianapolis, Indiana, and specifically Ryan Harbour as my #1 trainer. And he's been with me all along, really pushing me mentally, physically, everything. And even times when I didn't think I could do it or didn't want to do it, he was there to sort of get on me to do it, obviously, which was a big part of what I needed. And really just breaking it down. Sort of broken into doing a 5K. Got through a 5K, okay. Started training for a 10K. Got through the 10K portion. Went into a half marathon training program. Got through that earlier this summer, and then sort of dove headfirst into the full marathon training, and really try to break it up like that. I think if I would have thought way down the road about the marathon itself, I might have been a little more intimidated by it, but by doing it this way and adding a mile or two to my long runs each week really helped me maintain that. And I also think the other key was making sure I paced myself properly. I'm not out here setting records. I'm not out here to be one of the winners of the marathon, obviously. For me, it's just completion, and I think that's the goal I've set for myself.
That is the ultimate goal for Sunday. Is just
for me, it's just completion. Obviously, if I can be around the 5-hour mark or so, I'll be very happy with myself. I want to keep, hopefully I feel good, hopefully I don't have any major cramping that occurs, but that's the problem, you just never know how your body's going to react. So my overall goal is just to finish.
Now, being Jared, the single name icon, has its perks. You've gotten to do some training along the way, not only with St. Vincent's, but also with some of the other famous fans of Subway, including Ryan Howard, Michael Phelps, Blake Griffin, and Meb, last year's marathon winner. I won't even try his last name. I apologize, Meb. But these are elite athletes. I mean, global athletes, with global name recognition. Is there any sort of commonality amongst them as having reached the upper echelon of their respective sports that you see throughout, having spent time with them?
I think the one thing I've seen with all these guys is that they really put the time and effort into being the best they are. I mean, yes, they're all gifted athletes. They all have the genetic code, so to speak, I think, for that. But they all work so hard during the season, during the off season, to get to that pinnacle level. And they really take, it's really, I mean, when you break it down, it's pretty simple. I mean, they have to obviously make sure they're getting enough physical activity, their exercise portion, but they also eat right. And I know they're all huge Subway fans, which has been great, and Subway's been a big part of their training and fueling them, just like it sort of fueled me through doing my marathon training as well.
Well, being close with them and doing that training, I'm sure you might have some fun stories that you may or may not be able to share. But that's the commonality, is their hard work and their dedication. But is there any sort of individual characteristics for each of them, play a little word association, that sort of stood out? Say Ryan Howard, for instance.
I think Ryan Howard, for me, he's just so laid back. He's so laid back. He deals with the pressure so well. I mean, he's obviously at the pinnacle of Major League Baseball. Probably will be a Hall of Famer one day. But he's just laid back. He's easygoing, and he's generally a nice guy. And I think that's really made my time getting to spend with Ryan so much more enjoyable.
Michael Phelps has almost become synonymous with the Olympics. How Jared is synonymous with Subway. Michael Phelps, it seems, has become synonymous with the Olympics. And now there is truly a global athlete. How about Michael Phelps?
Michael Phelps is great. I've gotten to hang out with him quite a bit, and we got to team up for sort of a training session where he helped me train during the Vancouver Olympic Games this year, which was a lot of fun just to be in Vancouver anyway, but then to get to be there with Michael Phelps was even better. He obviously just told me about just the number of hours he has to put into his training on an everyday basis when he's in his super training mode, 8 to 10 hours of swimming. I mean, that's a lot of hours to be in the pool. It takes a whole lot of dedication. He's really had to make huge sacrifices with his personal life. Obviously now he's a very, very public profile and whatnot, so there's definitely a lot of sacrifice that he's made along the way, but he knows how worth it is.
Well, Blake Griffin is someone who's faced some adversity early in his career, professional career, with injuries that he's dealing with. Any advice that he was able to give you?
I think with Blake, the biggest thing he was telling me about is his stretching routine. He stretches a lot now before he exercises, while he exercises. He really wants to make sure he avoids injury. Obviously, playing for the Clippers or whatnot, he wants to put himself in that best possible position. So we actually spend a lot of time on stretching, which for me is great because to do 26.2 miles, you got to be good and flexible, and your body's got to take it.
And finally, Meb, who again I won't attempt his last name, but Meb's probably most relevant to what you're doing now as a marathoner and a champion marathoner. I would assume that his advice would be most relevant to you.
Yeah, Meb was great and a phenomenal guy, very, very humble considering he just won the ING New York City Marathon last year. What a great down-to-earth guy, though, and the fact that he did it in 2 hours and 8 minutes, I believe, last year just blows me out of the water, especially considering that I'll be lucky to hit 5 hours, so he could pretty much double that and then still have some time at the end of the finish line before I got there. But he was great, and I think one of the things that he really taught me, or told me about, he said running's supposed to be fun. He says a lot of people take it so seriously, they get so intense. He says, just remember on marathon day to enjoy the time you're doing it, enjoy the crowd, enjoy the sights of New York City, and just enjoy those moments because he said you may never have it again.
Jared, hopefully the weather clears up by Sunday. It seems to, the forecast says it is. But how can people follow your progress throughout the race?
You can go to Subway. You can go to Subway has a Twitter page, so you can follow it on Facebook. So either way, it's pretty easy. Just go on Facebook and under Subway, and you can follow my progress there. And at the end of the race as well, we'll have all kinds of updates on how I did, obviously, and the whole journey that how I got there.
Cool. We'll link that up. But you've also joined Twitter pretty recently.
Yes, for my foundation, for the Jared Foundation, which is about fighting childhood obesity. And you could follow that page at the Jared Fogle, so on Twitter or on Facebook.
Cool. And we'll check it out. Jared, thanks, and good luck this Sunday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.